I participated in November 30 inks. That's all I will say till later. Hey there, it's Grace. Welcome back. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for being here. I had grand ideas for 30 inks, 30 days this time. I mean, I really, after June, and I seem to have met my goal only halfway. But I'll tell you more about that in a mo, because first I want to share the ways I tracked my 30 inks this month. Plus, I want to give you some ideas for what you can do as well. If you've not done this before, even if you've done 30 inks, 30 days, maybe this is something you want to try. I wanted to come up with something different from what I did in June, which was a lot. So I decided to condense the form I used to upload the videos. I did shorts, but after the fact, while compiling this video, I realized that I actually increased the ways I tracked each day's pen and ink pairings. Go figure. What? Let's get over to the overhead so I can show you the many ways I recorded each day's inks. Let's go. So let's get to me sharing the ways I tracked November 30 inks. And don't forget, at the end of the video, I want to share a little bit of what other people are doing and kind of give a shout out, because some of these are really innovative ways to track 30 inks. Anyway, here is the first way I tracked. Here in my, one of the ways I use my monthly calendar in this is a Sterling Ink Common Planner B6. And one of the ways I use my monthly planner is I track my inks in the inks I use in the month in my monthly planner. And since last year, sometime last year, this is 2023, I wanted to know what my pips were, pen and ink pairings were at a glance whilst I was journaling, because this is my journal notebook for the year. And I started using, the monthly pages like this. So these are the currently inked pens for August. Let's get it right. Yes, there's a number up there. These are the currently inked pens for August. And this is how I tracked in my journal the ways, so I can always flip back and see. I use Leonardo Momento Zero Grande, and I can come back to the month and see, oh, that's the color ink I used, or that's the pen I used. So this is the first way I track November 30 inks. Also included in the monthly, any inks I bought, I actually swatched them. So these were 7 Deadly Sins inks, and these were the Colorverse inks I bought in the month of August. But the way I tracked November 30 inks was this way. And you can see that there are only 15 spaces swatched. And this is with the spoon. I did this with the spoon. I'll tell you later what happened. I won't go into that now. Let's just continue with how I tracked. I love the fact that I can see at a glance, and I only wrote the name of the ink and not the pen, because to me, for 30 inks, the pen really didn't matter. It really was about the ink. And I debated whether I should just, even though I stopped at 15, I debated whether I should swatch the others. But I decided to stay with this because this is actually what happened in the month. I got up to 15 in a 30-day month. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Alrighty. So the next way I tracked was my cheat sheets. I don't know if you guys remember this. I started this at the beginning of this year, creating a cheat sheet for every month. And I call it a cheat sheet because this is the paper that stays with my pen case. And so, when I'm journaling, I can just pull this out and see, oh, this ink and this pen go together, and I know what it is. I can sit here and choose, oh, I used Pilot Decimo with the Diamine Early Dusk. which ink I want to use next. I know I've used that one and I can choose which one. So January, there's February, March and April were together. May, what's that? That's May, June. Oh, June was 30 inks. So what did I do for 30 inks? Oh yeah, my series. That total different. Stick with the plan, Grace. July, and then that one was August, September. And September was a carryover, I think. Oh no, September I was away for a good bit and only did those 3. And then August, Seasons of Color is the one that I did for that one. So what did I do for November 30 inks? I wanted something obviously larger. That I needed something obviously larger than these little cheat sheets. So I took an A5 piece of paper, drew 30 spots on it, and then swatched each ink. And you notice on this one, I have all the inks swatched because I wanted to, I just wanted to have them all swatched. I just did not get to write with all of them. There's day 15. And one of the other reasons I wanted to put all the inks in there is because my plan was, I love a rainbow. And my plan was to just go in rainbow order with all of the inks. And it worked for the most part. There's some that I kind of probably should have swapped, but that's okay. And I loved how it turned out, all the colors for the inks. I just never got to all of them. Which leads me to the third way I tracked. And the third way I tracked was something I do regularly anyway. These are what I call my pip sheets. This is my pip notebook. I'll put the link for all of the things that I've used in the description. But these are sheets, pen and ink pairing sheets. Every pen has its own sheet. And what I do here is at the end of the month, I write what reaction did I have with the pen and the nib rather, and the ink. This one was the first one, day 1, Diamine Poppy Red in my Monteverde Giant Sequoia with the medium nib. Great pairing, think it's the pen, such a smooth nib and no issues with this ink either. So this probably, when I give numbers for these, this probably will get a 9 or a 10 because I thoroughly enjoyed them. So all 15 pip sheets are here. I absolutely love having these sheets. Don't forget, these sheets are available in my Ko-fi shop. So if you want to track your own pens, and there's a couple of, this is A5 size. I actually created an A5 size because I love this size rather than letter size or smaller. So this is the third way I tracked all the inks on my pip sheets. And because I'm a data person, because I love to do the data, here is the pre-pairing. I needed to know what I was doing and how to do it. I'm a planner that way, you say. And this was actually taped to the wall in front of me here so that I knew what was happening on each day. I just pulled the pen, pulled the ink, sat down and did the thing. And it's how I matched the ink to the pen. First thing I did, because I'm a data person, I created a little spreadsheet listing all the pens I have. Some of them are not here because they're not in the running to be used, but listing all the pens, and the ones with the stars next to it are the ones that ended up on this sheet, and also put the nib name, the nib label, so I knew which ink would be best in which pen. I really wanted to make sure that I had a pleasurable writing experience, and the only way to do that is the only way to ensure that is to match the nib to the ink. So if it's a smaller nib, fine nib, and an ink that sheens like crazy, it's not gonna match. It's just not gonna match. So this, as you can see, I got a little mixed up here. I don't know why I put this one before that one, and then this one didn't get in there, and then this one, the ink was way too light. I just did not like it, so I made an executive decision and changed that one. And then there's the only other one I changed, the Monteverde. Oh, did I use that? I even changed that one. I was supposed to use... Oh, I didn't. I changed that one as well. Anyway, I need to make sure I'm noted that I changed that one, because that's the Jinhao I changed. Anyway, this is how I knew which pen and which ink I was using. Unlike 30 days in June, that was total random matchup. I absolutely enjoyed it, but there were some inks and some pens that did not go together. They just did not go together. I did substitute 2 pens. The Jinhao, this particular one with the Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku. I had the 9019, but I used that in the month previously, in October. So I thought, I don't want to reuse it. I will use my new Jinhao 80. So that's a substitute. And then I substitute even this one that I did. I used a different pen. Anyway, there is another way that I tracked my inks. And I'm in the moment when I noticed something was going on and something needed change, I immediately changed it on the sheet as well. Alrighty, so we are up to, I think we're up to 5, 4 or 5, 1, 2, 3. I think we're up to 5. So this is my 2024 swatch, my 2024 swatch book. Everything that came through this studio is contained in this book, and this is my favorite. I love this book. This is my favorite way to track. I mean, all of the inks that I've gotten, look at them all. Look, I'm gonna do a flip through of this probably towards the end of December. It might be a January video, but I'm gonna do a flip through of this because I want to see them all. I wanted to do differently than I did here. I wanted to do it differently than just swatching. So what I actually did was, where's the page? I got this idea from Simone that I wanted, but I didn't want to, she did this, but I didn't want a separate sheet like she did. I wanted it to be in here. So I created this in Canva and cut it to size. There was a lot of printing and cutting and printing and cutting just to get this. And to fit all 30 inks in here, I have 8 per page, and then I have, so 1 through 8 here, 9 through 16, and then these 2 would be the remaining days. They didn't get anything. I only got up to these days. And I think it looks kind of cool. It does look like a rainbowy thing going on. So cool. Oh, I did start using. That's because I wrote the pip notes already. It did get a 10. Monteverde, Giant Sequoia, and Diamine Red Poppy. It did get a 10 because I enjoyed that. And then I didn't have room over here, so I had to write the numbers over here. There's a lot of good numbers. Considering 15 days, there's a lot of good numbers here. So I love using my swatch notebook. This is a Midori M6 Slim, and upcoming also is the planner, my 2025 lineup for swatching and journaling. The 6th way of how we use pens is, of course, for writing. I am a journaler. I will always journal. And of course I journal each day, and I journaled with the pen that I filled. Now, I don't count this as a way that I tracked it because this is such a regular thing for me, but it is a way that I used the particular pairing, the pen and ink pairing. I use it for Currently Ink as well because it's the pens that I used in that month. So I wanted to include it in this video, and as you can see, all of the pages, that's October. Let's see if I can find, there's all November, all the pages with all the inks. up until yesterday. So yeah, writing is another way that I tracked my in the journal. I tracked my I tracked these November 30 inks, and the next way I tracked the 30 inks. Hold on a minute. I think it's time I share why this project stalled at 15 days. The last short I uploaded was day 11, if I'm not mistaken. Even though in the end I actually recorded 15 days. I got sick, and not as in a cold or flu, just a shite load of weird allergy attack thing. Sneezing, endless coughing, that's still lingering, of course, right? Cough just never goes away. Other stuff that I just shall not name. Ugh. Not to mention the fatigue. Now that one surprised me. I did day 12, and then I just couldn't stay upright enough to edit it. I felt better in the morning, so I said, okay, here we go. Do it again. I recorded day 13 and 14, and I wanted to do both of those because obviously there was something going on. So I thought, let me just get this out just in case I couldn't get up on for day 14. So I did the 13 and 14, and that wiped me out. I decided to try one more time, and I recorded day 15. And I guess because I decided to push my body, push through, my body said, enough. And I was out for the count for 2 full days, y'all. 2 full days. I kind of got pissed when I had, reasonable thought. I kind of got pissed that I was so far behind. And then I made the decision, okay, stop. You need to pull the plug. And I shared with my Kobe Peaks the one thing that had me finally let go of it's okay to do this, not to do this. I came across this quote, and it is, don't forsake clarity in pursuit of a targeted goal. And that, it just got me thinking. So although I was totally disappointed that I didn't get to finish, in the end, I was glad I listened to the writing on the wall, that this was meant to be a 15 inks in 15 days project, not a 30 days, 30 inks. Okay, let's get back to the overhead where I'll show you one more way I tracked my 15 days of pen and ink pairings. One more way. This is the best way though. This is the best. Let's go. There's another way you can track your 30 inks, or as in my case, your 15 days. And this is number 7, I believe. I'm so confused with the numbers. I think it's either 6 or 7, one of those two. Choose a project. Make this journey of 30 inks, 30 days fun. But I would say also make it memorable. And that's why I wanted to list out all of the ways I track. I really had fun using each one of those ways of tracking each day. I had fun with it. And of course, I have some ideas for you. If you're going to choose a project, you can transcribe your favorite book. I have been transcribing Jane Austen's Persuasion for a while. It's on hold, and I didn't use it for this project. But you can transcribe your favorite book, or a book of poetry or something like that, or something. The second way you can do a project for it is, if you're an artist, sketch a day. I've seen beautiful sketches on Instagram, and I love the way that they are using the 30 inks just by sketching something a day. The third way, which I thought was really cool, the third way you can do a project is playing with inks and the interplay of water. Now, you know inks have chroma shading or chromatography is what I want to say. The chromatography of the inks, especially. One of the things, if you haven't gotten the Birmingham Pen Company ink, oh my god, that is fascinating to see the chromatography in that. But anyway, playing with inks and the interplay of water, the one person I saw so far who really does a good job, and I'll put her name on the screen somewhere here, is at the Dormouse Desk on Instagram. I think for June or September, I forget which one, she played with ink and water and she created a little project, a little sheet of artwork using that day's ink, the pen, and putting in water, using a water brush to just bring out the color a little bit more. The fourth way you can do a project is to practice drawing or writing. And I've purposely put drawing and writing in this category because, for instance, calligraphy. I have picked up calligraphy once again, but calligraphy or practice your writing or cursive if you really want to get really good at cursive or whatever. Practice drawing or writing with it. The fifth way that I thought of is writing what I call your gratefuls or a daily list. I wrote my gratefuls for 4 consecutive years straight back in the day, and it was a little while ago, and that was a lot of fun. So create a daily list of whatever you want to use the pens, and that could be the project for the day. Or, write a letter. Write a letter to somebody and tell them about your day. Tell them something. Just write a letter with that pen's pairing. I think for Simona, she did 31 inks, 31 letters, 31 something or the other. I think she did it in October, I think. She actually sent postcards, and I have one of her postcards. I was so excited to get one. I love that postcard. So the other way is write a letter. There are so many different projects to try. Like what I did for 30 inks. One second. I tell you, that cough of mine, I wish it would go away already. What I did for 30 inks is I actually baggy swatched the ink on one side, and then I did a sample, and then I wrote from a passage from one of 3 of my favorite books, and every day was different. I just love how they did. So this was June, 30 days, 30 inks. And what I decided to do for, which one is it? What I decided to do for November 30 inks was 2 separate kind of projects. This is my series notebook, and I call it my series notebook because it's a compilation of a series of swatches. So the first part was the diamond ink vent. I did all 25 days here. And then I did, the next series was June 30 inks, 30 days. And then November 30 inks, 30 days. And all I did here was just swatch the ink and just write the name. So November 30 inks was not about the pens. It really was just about the inks. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That surprised the heck out of me. Weeping Willow, that was. Look at Ferris wheel press, Queen and Castle. Oh, just gorgeous. Anyway, my series notebook is the first project I did with 30 days, 30 inks for November. And then the second one I did, which was the big project, was creating Zentangles for each day. I loved doing this. I love coming up with the idea and all the things. And how I came up with all the things was, this is my pen and ink commonplace book. I had fun coming up with all the different designs, and like Varney, someone on Instagram, Varney, I'll put her name up here, that I got quite a few of the ideas for these Zentangles. I actually drew 45 of them. I just practiced drawing them all. Just there. I practiced drawing a whole lot. And then I chose which Zentangle to go with the nib. And because I wanted to showcase the ink. So I had to make sure that the ink did a really good job of showcasing. I want to show you day, I wrote the numbers back on the back. Day 11. Is this day 11? Day 11 was, no, day 12. Day 11 was BPC, Birmingham Pen Company, Interstellar Bronze. And I knew that I wanted this is a very sheeny ink. And I knew that I wanted this ink to shine. And I looked just. So I chose a pattern that I knew would have the corners be a lot of ink. And so I really chose the pattern to go with the ink, but also because I chose the ink that works with the pen, it worked really brilliantly. Simple design, beautiful, showcased so beautifully. The other one I want to show you is, because some of them were really good and some of them were just like, what the world? Day 4 and then day 6. Okay, so day 4, I struggled with the Concord nib, and I struggled with just the ink in the Concord nib particularly, and I did not care for this. I think this was not a good match for the design, but if you look at the same type of orange ink, this one is a very good match. This design worked well with this ink and the nib, and even though the ink comes across as really light when I'm writing, because it was a repetitive design from the corners, it worked really well with this one. I love that. My favorites of the bunch, let's see, I think, what is this one? Yes, that is a fave of the bunch. And then, what is that one? What is that? That's a fave. I love this one. Is done with Weeping Willow. Weeping Willow, and I forget the nib that I did it in. Yeah, I do love that one. And then this one. I love that. Does it look like eyes? Does it look like eyes in each box? It's so cool. That's so gorgeous. And then, was it 12? 12. Of course, I love that one because it showed up the sheen in the ink. Just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And then these two are kind of like runner-ups. I love the interplay of, when you think about, this is the design, that's the one design, but when you put it together in a 9 block, isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that just, oh, so cool. And then this one, when just simple design, that's the design. And then it comes to this. Isn't that, I love doing these. I loved doing them. Okay, I wanted to share with you what others were doing for theirs as well. I know that Simone did Project Ink Down, and she did that in a month that doesn't contain 30 days. She decided to do it in October. And I love how Eleanor of Inktopods on Instagram, it was like big splotches. Oh my God, isn't that gorgeous? Big splotches on an A6 notebook, or yeah, I think it's a notebook. But she also included, if you notice, she also included a quote on each page. So she made the project her own. I love the way Corinna Loves to Plan does a week's worth of swatches in one video and just uploads it in one day. Or the fact that I love the way I did 30 inks. I picked a random ink and I picked a random pen and let that be the pairing. I do hope you find this helpful, or at least enjoyable, to see how I tracked my 30 inks, all the different ways I tracked 30 inks. Let's open it up so you can see the goodness. all the different ways I track the 30 inks in this, for this time around, and how interesting it gets to be when you just make it fun. When you just make it fun. Make it fun, because this is something that we should, a pen hobby is something we should always enjoy. And you just saw how I made my life really hard. This is all for 30 inks. All of this, including this one here. Where is it? All of this was for 30 inks. And that's not including, there's something I'm missing. I don't know what else I'm missing. But I did all of this. All of these ways I tracked 30 inks. And all of the inks have been sitting here, and all the pens are stacked. Let me move that forward so you can see. All the inks, as I did the ink, so all the inks were here. And as I did the ink, I popped it over here. And so, you see day 1, day 2, day 3, and I popped it over here so I knew which way. Also, pre-plan. Go ahead and pre-plan, because you're gonna need to do it. All right, let me know what you think of all the ways I tracked. Which way intrigued you the most? And see you next time in the upcoming, cause I got an ink calendar, but I'm not telling until I do the first video which one I got. So there, that's all I'm gonna say. Toodles, goodbye. Let me know what you think about these ways to track. I'd love to know. Anyway, bye.